You have to see what happened to Max Dowman, a 15-year-old who, in the space of a single half, forced defenders to foul him 10 times and forced an entire conversation about how we treat teenage prospects. This wasn't a minor scuffle or a neat statistic to scroll past. It was a statement. Dowman came into the international window operating well above his years, winning a penalty and pulling defenders apart with a confidence that belongs to players much older than him. The response was ugly, repeated fouls, harsh challenges, and a sense that every touch he made invited rough treatment rather than protection. Fans and pundits erupted online, not simply at the spectacle but at a deeper worry. Are referees doing enough to shield young talent from the physical and psychological costs of early exposure? That question matters because this isn't an isolated story about one flashy teenager. It's a bellwether for how clubs manage the jump from youth football to senior competition. Arsenal have a player who looks ready to accelerate, the kind of talent that gets supporters dreaming of dazzling Premier League minutes and clutch performances in cup ties. But the pathway to those moments must be carefully managed. When a 15-year-old is repeatedly targeted, it forces a trade-off. Do you fast-track a prodigy into the limelight and risk burnout and physical harm, or do you shelter him longer and risk stagnation and lost momentum? There's also a refereeing debate here that goes beyond one match highlight reel. Modern football has rules and protocols built to protect players, but enforcement is inconsistent, especially when the offender is a teenager playing against older, more powerful opponents. Some argue that the game's custodians, referees, and governing bodies must show discretion and stronger measures when youth are visibly at risk. Others warn against special treatment that could distort competition. Both sides have valid points, but Dowman's case tilts the balance toward reassessment. If the official's job is to keep the contest safe and fair, then refereeing standards must account for mismatches in physical maturity as much as tactical fouls. What does this mean for Arsenal? Practically, the club will want to shield its asset. A smart plan could involve phased exposure, carefully selected minutes in lower-stakes senior fixtures, targeted mentoring from experienced teammates, and tailored physical preparation to help him handle contact. The FA Cup can be the perfect testing ground, competitive, meaningful, but not as ruthless as a full Premier League grind. If Arsenal do bring him into that environment, they must also demand accountability from match officials when lines are crossed. Off the pitch, the narrative is a recruitment and development victory for England's youth setup, producing a player who can terrorise defences and win penalties at international level is extraordinary. But the praise should come with a cautionary note: publicity is double-edged. Viral clips, social media debates and column inches raise the player's profile fast, which brings expectation, pressure and sometimes extra roughhouse attention from opponents. That means clubs, national teams and parents must coordinate on pacing his growth, mental health support and education about handling provocation. There's also a broader ask to the game's stakeholders. Youth within senior spaces change the dynamics of matches. If conveyor belt talent is to continue delivering for clubs and country, governing bodies must consider clearer guidance for officials and perhaps stricter punishments for repetitive, targeted fouling of young players. It's not about softening the game, it's about preserving careers. Max Dowman's afternoon of 10 fouls is a compelling prompt, one tiny incident that could influence policy, inspire safer practices, and ultimately protect the next generation of stars. So when you watch those clips again, don't just marvel at the skill, ask yourself what responsibility comes with it. Or, if Arsenal's teenager continues on this trajectory, he could be a household name very soon, but only if the football world steps up to protect, nurture and manage him. That balance between opportunity and care will decide whether Max Dowman becomes a headline for brilliance or a cautionary tale about what happens when youthful talent meets unbridled physicality.